Hi there, welcome. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. My thanks to Debbie for going solo yesterday when I was otherly occupied, but it's great to be back today. And it's a fun day. It's an interesting day. It's an important day for us, Debbie, isn't it? It's
otherly occupied. I like that.
Otherly occupied, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. You know what everybody's talking about, Jerry? It's Fat Tuesday.
It is?
It is. Mardi Gras.
Wow.
Right? I know. It's here. It's arrived. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, Jerry. So, yesterday's show was fabulous. We talked about inspirational music, and still the emails are coming in. Everybody's sharing their favorite songs and Gregorian chant and country music and gospel music. It was a really great show, very uplifting. And now we're here right the day before Lent begins. And so I thought, it's a great way to get prepared, don't you think?
Well, I do, and we want to know, how have you been preparing for Lent? And when Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday comes around, is it kind of like, do you see it as that one last chance to sort of let it all hang out before you head into Ash Wednesday and Lent? Is it a meaningful day to you? Do you do something with family, friends? Do you, we have this rule, kind of a rule, Debbie, with the church. We are really called to feast with the church and fast with the church. And so we're preparing for that season of fasting with the church. Not that Fat Tuesday, I don't know really the history of it that well, if it's any sort of officially sanctioned.
It goes way back. Way back.
But what I'm saying is, I don't know if the church actually said, okay, everybody, let's party hardy here on Tuesday. But I think Catholic Christians just kind of developed that tradition there. So I just want to know how people approach Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday, and then how do you quiet your souls and your spirits to get ready for the following day, which is Ash Wednesday.
Right. I had even heard that it came out of pagan traditions way, way back. But then a lot of things do. And then they transition into things that you right, Jerry? And then all of a sudden it becomes things that are accepted. But yeah, it's an interesting day. Do you splurge the day before Lent? Let me just a couple things I want to just express again, Jerry. I shared it, I think, yesterday and last week as well. I'm not really big on Lent. And what I mean by that is it's really tough for me. It always has been. And since I've been in ministry since 1989, for some reason, when Lent comes around, the spiritual attacks, all sorts of things go wrong. It's 40 plus days of just stress. And so I'm trying to approach this particular Lent in a different way. And so I'm not going to be splurging tonight and having one last feast before. I'm really trying hard to get into that frame of mind to take on Lent in a whole new way and make it more of a, I don't know if I can say pleasurable experience, because I don't know how is Lent for you? It's not it's every time it comes around, I cringe.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lent is what it is for everybody, and it's going to be a little bit different for each individual person. Mine vary from year to year. Some of them I make a better Lent. Other times I look back in some years and I think, oh man, boy, that was just 40 wasted days, on my part. And it's never wasted time because, I think we want to, just to be in the spirit, Debbie, in the mindset, just to know that it's that penitential season. And then I think Holy Week for me has always been very, very solemn. And I think, I love Holy Thursday because it's the institution of the priesthood and the Eucharist. But I think Holy Saturday for me has always been the day that stood out because it's kind of like, okay, Jesus is dead. He said he would rise again. Will he? There's that anticipation, that doubt, that wonder, the worry, all of that anticipation. But right. That's a ways down the road. Here we are just on the eve of Ash Wednesday. So we want to know, Take Two family, do you have any special traditions on Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday? Is it just another day for you? Do you just say, you know what, I'm instead of revelry, I am going to actually maybe do a little extra prayer tonight in anticipation of Ash Wednesday? So how do you approach this? Do you find anything wrong with people getting wild and crazy on Fat Tuesday? That's a question we could ask.
Yeah, gaining 5 pounds before Lent starts. I know. That's not a good thing. Hey, Jerry, real quickly, Lent officially ends on Holy Thursday. So the Triduum begins a whole nother season of the liturgical calendar. And I agree with you. I absolutely look forward to Holy Thursday. I love it. That's when I just hang on all the way till Holy Thursday. And then it's the Triduum. I enter into the Triduum in a really incredibly deep way. So, yeah, that's a good thing. I think this Lent, I'm going to really just focus on getting there. Maybe that's it. I need to just focus on getting to the Triduum. Jerry, I've got a secret real quick. Let me give the number if you want to weigh in on this. It's Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, day before Lent. Don't forget to make time to get your ashes for Ash Wednesday, beginning Lent tomorrow. The number to dial is 833-288-3986. Jerry, I got a little secret, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, you're coming to town. See, a lot of our listeners don't know that you're in California and I'm in Arizona, and we chat by real-time Skype. And so it seems like we're right in the same room because we've been working together for so long. But you're coming to Arizona to visit family and friends and have some real quality prayer time. And we're just excited about that. As a matter of fact, Jerry, I'm hoping that we can do the show together on Thursday in Chandler from the Forum, which is a wonderful event center that has high-tech podcasting rooms, and it's just an amazing kind of a place that everybody's hanging out recently and enjoying all the wonderful community. And it's where my husband works, Revelation Real Estate. So they have set aside a room for people to come visit us and see us do the show together. I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it should be fun. We don't get to be in the same location, like you said, very often for the show. So that will be on Thursday, and we look forward to that. And we invite anybody, I guess, Debbie, could we say that? Anybody in the Chandler area would want to come down and say hi. We could do that.
Absolutely. It's the Forum on South Stearman Drive in Chandler. And it's a really hopping place. Everybody knows about it. It's just wonderful, and it's part of Revelation Real Estate. So you can find it. Just come down. We'll be there probably about 9:30 in the morning all the way till probably lunchtime, Jerry. So if people want to come by and say hi to you and meet you in person, I think that would be great for Arizona residents.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And as a matter of fact, right after the show today, I am turning on the car and going to be driving to Phoenix, so I ask everybody for your prayers. It's about a 5-hour drive for me to get over there, and looking forward to seeing Debbie and Marty, and like Debbie said, some family that I have there, and some friends, mutual friends, are flying in from around the country to catch a couple spring training baseball games. So that's how I'm starting my Lent. Sounds pretty penitential, doesn't it? 833-288-3986. What does Fat Tuesday mean to you? Anything outside the ordinary? Is it a day of preparation for Ash Wednesday? Is it a day to, have for one last time something you're going to give up during Lent?
We're talking about Fat Tuesday today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Real quickly, if you can't make it to Mass, if you actually can't physically make it to Mass, next best thing is daily Mass from Our Lady of the Angels Chapel in Irondale, Alabama, via the radio and television, and it's just wonderful. But on the radio, 12 noon Eastern Time, you can hear Mass, and that is just one of the greatest gifts, I think, that has been given to all of us with Catholic radio and television, is to be able to participate in the Mass if we can't actually physically make it there. And Jerry, I consider that such a great great gift for all of us to have and to listen to.
Yeah, it really is every single day. And you and I both know people, especially family members and friends, who take advantage of that, who watch the Mass on EWTN because they simply are not able to get out to Mass, sometimes even on Sundays anymore. So it's a great, great service from EWTN, both television and radio. Okay, today we're talking about Fat Tuesday. That is today. Ash Wednesday is tomorrow. We enter into that beautiful, solemn, refreshing, but penitential season of Lent. And today is the day that a lot of people will go out and get painted up and do the town and engage in revelry. And you know, sometimes, Debbie, it does, let's face it, you know, Mardi Gras a lot of times can not only border on debauchery and sin, but I mean it's. So I want people to know we're not sitting here saying, you know, let's just get wild and crazy and anything goes. But I think when we look at it, you mentioned it probably goes back, I don't know, many centuries.
I think it has pagan roots.
It may have pagan roots, yeah, but you know, for Catholic Christians, you know, I mean, there's nothing unreasonable about saying, okay, we're going into 40 days of penance tomorrow, so why don't today, you know, let's have maybe a great meal, get together with some friends, you know, go out somewhere, do something fun, you know, do these kinds of things. So I'm sure there's nothing, you know, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with it, but I just wanted to point out that it can get over the top, so we want to be careful about that, and I'd love to hear from anybody if they have thoughts about that.
Yeah. And I just wanted to clarify something. I said that, you know, I sometimes when Lent comes around, I cringe. I don't cringe because I absolutely love the season of Lent. I love the whole getting prepared and getting into that wonderful place where we can start to open our hearts, and it's really just a beautiful movement in our spirituality. I cringe because I just feel like Satan just rises his ugly head during Lent, and everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And if anybody else has that experience, I mean, I guess there is some comfort in knowing I'm not alone, that it only happens to me during Lent, but it is just horrific and it's just tough. But I'm approaching it with I'm reframing it, Jerry, just like you always tell everybody to do. And I'm looking at this from a whole different angle, and I'm actually kind of excited this year to take on Lent. So anybody else out there have those thoughts or those, you know, maybe anxiety-driven feelings or just know what to expect, call in 833-288-3986.
Okay, let's go to your phone calls here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Our phone number 833-288-3986, as Debbie just said. And we'll begin in Milwaukee with Carol listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Carol. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. It's Stand Tall Carol checking in on Fat Tuesday. And I want to thank you so far for your comments. From what I got from, you know, when Debbie said the word cringe, I just thought that it went with the thing about be not afraid more than cringing. And because it is a scary thing to get more intimate with your thoughts and your faith. And Jerry's comments of play ball, you know, going to the ball game is good. Time to play ball with God a little better. And
well, as a matter of fact, Carol, one of the games I'm going to is a Milwaukee Brewers game in a couple days. So I'll report back.
Okay.
So sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's okay. Just wear a cheese head there, and you'll be fine. A cheese hat. But the sense of entitlement. So when you think of, you know, that Fat Tuesday, that you want to go out and everybody else is doing it, and then you think about your whole life and your fun bucket list and what's missing in my life, and and sometimes and then you think, oh boy, I have to go off into the desert. You know, I have to go off, but in the desert's quiet, and you grow. And you surrender to God, and I'm intimacy challenged with relationships anyway, and then of course that includes God. But when I think of the cross and as a symbol with the up and down vertical and the cross section, it's as above, so below. And so I try to be closer to things of heaven during Lent, but. So I do feel I felt a big sense of entitlement, and not that I'm going to run around in Mardi Gras beads or anything like that, but I felt like, you know, this is a time to start rocking and rolling and all this. But then how am I supposed to face tomorrow morning with getting the ashes if I'm not 100%? So for Lent, you know, people in addictions recovery, there's a saying about stop fighting everybody and everything. So that's one of those things I'm aiming for during Lent. And I won't fight anybody if they want to give me an extra punchki today either. So that
Well, it sounds like you've got a good perspective on this, Carol, and I agree with you. We don't want to go. That's one of the things about a day like this. You know, we don't want to go into a solemn day like Ash Wednesday tomorrow, hungover or getting 2 hours sleep and with bags under our eyes and our tails dragging and all of this stuff. We want to give God our very, very best, and so, like I said before, when we fast with the church and we give God our best fasting, and that's not just fasting from food, but it's all sorts of fasting and abstinence and prayer and mortification and almsgiving and all of that. Lent is a beautiful season for that. But when there are those opportunities for the church, so for example, that's why the church gives us 40 days of Lent, 50 days of Easter. We do penance for 40 days and we sort of celebrate for 50 days. So it's there's nothing at all wrong, I think, as you've alluded to. Taking these opportunities to celebrate in some way, to enjoy the good things of life, the better things of life, in moderation, not to excess, and then be ready. We just need to be ready when we get up tomorrow and start to make it a good Lent. Debbie, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And as you were talking, Carol, I was getting some text messages in because they were just, this is what I love about the Take Two family. We all kind of help each other and correct one another or confirm other things. And a few people texted in and said that the Fat Tuesday tradition may or may not have originated from pagan roots. So it may or may not. There's different arguing points on it. So it's a very interesting concept, and I think that it's worthy of discussion and to get a better understanding of where we're at and what we give our energy to when it comes to our faith. What are we going to put into it? And I think that every time we contribute to this conversation, we're helping each other grow. So I'm hoping. I know I tailed off a little bit off of what you were saying, Carol, but I just wanted to make sure I got that statement in. So what do you think? Any final comments?
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of times people celebrate also with the saints. Like people will take a break from it probably for the St. Joseph's feast day and so forth, and the people are eating those punchki pastries for St. Casimir's feast day too, so they already started last Thursday celebrating his feast day, and so that it was almost I think there was like 3 days of celebrating, or 2 days of celebrating him plus Fat Tuesday, so it may have been linked to some of the celebrations in the church as much as some of the pagan things, but maybe it's just that people like to act pagan,
Yeah, right.
But I'm keeping my top on. Don't worry. So anyway, but bless you on your journey, Jerry. And
thank you. Yeah, thanks, Carol. Lots of love to you.
Thank you, Carol, and to Jim.
And you and Jim have a blessed, safe, and enjoyable Fat Tuesday, and a great start to your Lent tomorrow on Ash Wednesday. Yeah. All right, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, talking about Fat Tuesday, how you approach it. Maybe just shun it. Maybe just say, you know what, that's for all those people who want to, get wild and crazy. I'm just gonna focus myself, get my heart ready for Ash Wednesday, or maybe some in between approach. Cheryl is next in Lafayette, Louisiana, listening on Christ the King Radio. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Good morning. As we say here, laissez les bons temps rouler, and that means let the good times roll.
Okay.
I wanted to call and tell you a little bit of our history here about Mardi Gras. We get a bad rap from New Orleans because they're way over the top. And I went to New Orleans in the 70s, and it was getting out of hand even then. I don't even advise people to go there because it's just not what this is about. I live in Lafayette. We have our own Mardi Gras here, and as they do across the state. It's family-oriented. We have a street fair. All our parades end at this street fair. It's the kids have things to do, and there's not a lot of drinking and carrying on, and it's very respectable. But this all started when we were. I'm French-Canadian descent, French-Acadian descent, and we were exiled from Nova Scotia in the 1700s. And we were going to be killed because of our religion. And they wanted us to renounce our faith and honor the King of England. And we refused. So we were put on all these ships. We were all separated. The men were on some ships, and the women and children were put on different ships. And everything was burned behind them, and they were set out to sea. And a lot of them died on those ships. But some came down the Mississippi River, and some came around Florida, and they landed in New Orleans. And that's how we came to be here. But we would rather die than give up our faith. And I want you to know that even though Mardi Gras, we see it as a day to celebrate what we will be potentially giving up for God. Good food, a lot of loud music, dancing. I don't dance. And there was a time we did not even get married during Lent because that was a special celebration to concentrate on Jesus, not on earthly things. And so not every place celebrates the same way. Some are very wholesome and holy. And the next day, though, even in New Orleans, you could hear a pin drop. It's one of the holiest days of the year. Everything is picked up. Everyone is at church. There are so many people getting ashes. They're lined up outside the cathedrals and the churches. And that's across the state. When John Paul made his American tour, he was not scheduled to stop here. But because of such a large concentration of Catholics, he made a visit to New Orleans. And we were so grateful that he had done that to bless our city. And I just wanted to kind of clear up some of the I don't know.
Misinformation, maybe? Yeah.
Misinformation. And if you don't come down here yourself, you're not going to know that. There are people that will never come down here. But that's the idea they get because this is what they show on the news. But it's not all like that. And there are people that are very God conscious and very modest and very caring to one another. And with all these people, we very seldom have an argument. There's never any fighting. There's no guns going off. I mean, nothing. So I just kind of wanted to clear that up a little bit because it's discouraging sometimes to hear only the bad things.
Yeah, and Cheryl, you know what you've done? You have just really done a great favor to so many people. I have been somewhat acquainted with the story of the Acadians in eastern Canada and how brutally they were treated. Like you said, they wanted to kill many of them. Then others were, put on boats and sent sailing. And typically it was mother on one boat, father on another boat, kids on another boat. So basically to rip the families apart and everything. And it was just very nasty and brutal. And, God's grace, of course, worked through that and helped in so many cases to preserve the faith, that strong faith that you're talking about. And so it's good that you're on right now to tell us, you're right there where, like you said, many of the French Canadians settled after that very tragic period in history. And the faith is still very, very deep within all of you. It runs right through your veins. And so I love the way you describe that. Yeah, I love the way you describe that. Go ahead, Cheryl. Debbie, I don't know if you want to.
Well, that's where Longfellow gets his poem Evangeline from the deportment. And in New Iberia, there's an oak tree dedicated to it. It's called the Evangeline Oak. And she sat under this oak, the legend goes, waiting for Gabriel, who was her lover, and she never found him. There's two versions. One version is she did find him, and he was dying, and he had married someone else. I didn't like that version, so I decided that she had never found him. It was more romantic to think that maybe he was pining for her somewhere. But that's where Longfellow got that poem.
Interesting.
Was from that piece of history.
Right.
And,
Cheryl, can I just say one thing real quickly before I forget? What Jerry just said, I'm so glad he said that because what you did today for all of us is to help us and to grow, and we learn together through everybody's experience. So I just want to thank you, say it again after Jerry just thanked you. to really educate us. And all I want to tell you is when my mom and dad went to New Orleans and they visited many years ago, they came back and they said, wow, what a Catholic city. I remember them saying that. And so that's what I've always thought about New Orleans. So, there's a lot of people, we don't understand because we don't live in certain communities, but this helped us tremendously. Cheryl, thank you so very, very much. Jerry, this was awesome. I learned a lot.
Yeah, Cheryl, please call the show anytime. You hear that music, we got to let our affiliates have a word or two here, and we'll come back to take more of your calls with Tony and then Jennifer and Rochelle. And we have a line open here as we talk about Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. If you've got any ties, connections, deep ones like Cheryl did, feel free to share them with us. How do you approach it? Maybe it's something you just kind of stay away from. Let us hear from you on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN. Thanks to Rich and Jeff and Ryan. Ryan is the call screener, the one that you will talk to first when you call in at 833-288-EWTN. We're starting Ash Wednesday in Lent tomorrow. So today we're having a conversation about Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. If you have any traditions, how you approach the day, maybe it's just another day for you. Maybe you just look around at some of the over-the-top revelry and debauchery and you say, wow. Yeah, that's not something I want to be a part of. And we had that great call from Cheryl reminding us of, just really the deep, rich faith tradition that goes into just the people of Louisiana and some of the things that they have suffered, Debbie. So good conversation so far.
It's great. We got an open phone line, 1-833-288-3986. Real quickly, Jerry, Helen, our friend Helen from Idaho, she emailed, and I just love her so very much. She says, hi, I love Lent, but I agree with you, Debbie, that it can be tough. Thanks, Helen. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm attacked by Satan all through Lent, and it happens to me no matter what I plan. But isn't this a wonderful opportunity to stand up for Christ and resist Satan and come through to Easter with the victory that Christ has won for us? Amen to that, Helen. And she says, as for giving things up, her diet's restricted anyway, so she's talked about that. But then she said, Debbie, you pray for me and I will pray for you. And I'm looking forward to Lent. The victory is ours, no matter how Satan tries to derail us. See, that just made me feel so good that we're praying for one another. She said, I love you both. Keep up the good work. And she said, I wish I could visit Arizona this year. I used to go every year, but not this one, or maybe she will. Enjoy the sunshine and baseball games, Jerry. Love from Helen.
Thanks, Helen. Okay, Tony, let's see what Tony has to say in Melbourne, Florida, listening on Divine Mercy Radio. Hi, Tony. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Well, good afternoon. I'm not a party or a reveler, but there's a couple of things I really like that I'm addicted to. One is chocolate, and being of Italian descent, the other is really good pizza. So what I have done is I've already stockpiled a little bit of chocolate, and I saved a favorite piece of pizza from the last time we went to the pizzeria, so I'll have that tonight. And then it'll be no favorite foods for the whole 40 days. But also, I do, on the spiritual side, I say a rosary every day, and during Lent I will say two. I'm also a sidewalk counselor at a pro-life clinic, so I will be going to an abortion clinic at least twice this month to pray and also see if I could help the young ladies. So that's my Lent that I have in mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what, Tony, we can totally relate to that. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the pro-life ministry. We need to have more and more people jump into the cause and to really help and to educate others. And you're doing that. So thank you so very much. As for the chocolate and the pizza, I can totally relate. I'm of Italian descent, and it's very difficult to give up things that we love, that we just feel like it's part of our DNA, and we should just, it's part of our being. But I think it's awesome that you set it aside, you planned it. It's kind of a disciplined thing that you're doing. You're just going to have it for the last time. And then for 40 plus days, you're going to go ahead and resist that. And I think that's a good thing. Those kinds of disciplines, and Jerry, tell me if you agree with this, I think they're really healthy for our spiritual growth. It just helps us. When we deny ourselves of things, we're constantly giving over, our faith and trust and our love to our Lord and Savior. And it's just a wonderful way of great spiritual growth. Would you say that, Jerry? I mean, if we get too comfortable, when do we grow, right?
Well, yeah, and every no really is a yes when you think about it. What Tony is saying, I'm going to say no to pizza and chocolate during Lent. But what he's actually saying yes to wanting to open himself up more, and through the sacrifice and the self-denial, what comes in more? God's grace, God's life, sanctification, holiness. So it's really, it's a no, but it's also a no that opens us up to a greater yes. Would you agree with that, Tony? Is that kind of your philosophy when you go into this?
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to do both. You have to abstain, and then you have to actually give. So, I think that's going to be my Lent.
Very good. Very good. Well, we wish you great strength, and we have a feeling that your Easter celebration is going to be a large pie and some chocolate somewhere. Maybe.
Pizza pie.
Right.
Pizza pie, yeah.
That'll be my Mardi Gras for tonight.
All right. Well, we're going to pray you have a great Lent,
God
Tony.
bless you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please do the same for us,
Thank
if you would.
God bless.
That. All right.
Right.
Well, there you go. Are you giving up pizza, Debbie, for Lent?
I'm giving up so many things. I'm going really crazy radical this year. I'm doing things. I'm giving up things. Marty and I have a whole entire list. I was going to share it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm just doing a lot this year. I'm just really going. I don't know. I just feel like there's just a need to really stretch, beyond whatever what we think we can do. Because especially with everything that's happening in the world, and I don't know. It's my own little thing.
Okay. Well, I guess we have to wait till tomorrow to find out. Okay. All right, we're going to talk to Jennifer about Mardi Gras. Jennifer is in Midland, Michigan, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Jerry. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about the origins of Fat Tuesday and kind of why we do a little bit partying that day. I happen to be Polish, coming from a very strong Polish family, and there's tons of us up here in Michigan. And what we do, and what we used to do a long, long time ago, even in the Middle Ages, we would empty the house of all forms of lard, sugar, eggs, any luxury items that were rich and fatty in order to prepare for our Lenten fast. And so one of the things we do is we'd look at all these things that we need to clear out of the house and think, okay, what can we make out of this? And a lot of that goes into our famous punchkis that we usually have every Thursday before Ash Wednesday, not the Tuesday, but the Thursday is traditionally punchki day. And then as we kind of became a little bit more secularized, it seems that more and more of our traditions are taken over. And, hey, these guys are eating all of these awesome foods this day. I mean, we need to get in on this. And so you see more and more of these rich and fatty foods, and this celebration that we're getting ready for the beginning of Lent, really, really getting more and more secularized. I know some other traditions use Fat Tuesday as Shrove Tuesday, and they use it as Pancake Day. Pancake, again, has sugar, eggs, milk in it, other rich foods that they need to get out of the house before Lent. So I don't think it really started as something necessarily a problem, but I think the way that the devil and Satan like to work is to take all our good stuff and twist it to his own use. So for my family, we always eat punchkis the Thursday before, and even today there's a couple local coffee shops giving away a free punchki with a cup of coffee. So it's a really nice way to kind of celebrate, hey, we're getting ready for something. We're getting ready for something really cool, really serious. And I agree with Debbie. I love Lent. It's my favorite time of year. I love all of the extra Mass services. I love all the extra prayers. I even like the penitential version of it because then I end up looking really hard at myself and saying, hey, what can I do better? What can I do to be more like Christ wants me to? So there's a lot of tradition that I see in Fat Tuesday and Lent, especially from an ethnic point of view.
Wow. Thank you, Jennifer, as well. Just like Cheryl before, you've really shined a whole new light on this. Not entirely new light, but I mean a different perspective from the Polish point of view. And we had an email from Jane earlier, a regular listener, who had basically said the same thing that you did. You know, animal products were not eaten during Lent, so any fatty foods, there were people that didn't have the means of preserving them necessarily. So, meats and cheeses and fatty foods and so forth, like you said, eggs and all of that, had to go because it was a beautiful thing. You know, it was a sign. You know, Fat Tuesday was a sign that people were going to take Lent seriously. You know, we're going to put away these foods. We're not going to indulge in these. We're not going to enjoy these because we want to be fully into the season of prayer, like you said, and penance, and just entering into the penitential time of the year. So it really is. It's got, Debbie, Fat Tuesday has such a beautiful, beautiful sacrificial and, let's say, Catholic Christian connotation to it. And, as she said, everything gets kind of hijacked. Let's face it. Easter is now about the Easter bunny. Christmas is about Santa Claus. But when we peel back some of these secular overtones on these things, we see the beautiful, beautiful spiritual realities that underlie them.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And Jennifer, I really feel, as you were speaking, I was excited when you were talking because I was thinking about just human nature, and we need these elements in life to be reminded of what we're entering into. So when you have, like when you were talking about the group that does the pancakes and this and that, I mean, we're that type of beings that we need these reminders, physical, tangible reminders of what we're entering into. And it just dawned on me, and I just thought of another thing that I'm going to be doing for Lent, Jennifer, that I'm going to share tomorrow. But that's excellent what you're saying. And I think in human nature I'm going back to this comfortable phase. We get way too comfortable, and then we don't want to get out of that comfort zone. But that's where we're really going to expand our heart and accept God's greatness. We were made for greatness, and the only way we can accept that is if we expand our hearts. Pope Benedict talked about that in Spe Salvi, and he's talked about we have to stretch to expand our heart to accept God's greatness. And I'm you know what? Now I'm going to change my mind. I'm looking forward to this experience now of Lent and to see how if my heart can be stretched. So Jennifer, thank you so much. Your words and your experience really helped me tremendously, and I know it's probably helped others as well.
Thank you so much, Debbie. One last thing, I really liked what you said about us being physical beings. Christ gave us the sacraments, and there's a physical and a spiritual element to the sacraments too. The physical thing enacts what the spiritual side also enacts. God was smart. He knew the way we work.
Yep. Amen. Amen, Jennifer. Oh, I could talk to you all day long. Thank you so much for gracing this conversation today.
I just have one last quick question, Jennifer. What did you call them? Panushkis or
Punchkis.
Punchkis. All right. Well, what are they? What goes into them? What are they? Sounds like a pastry of some kind.
Oh my gosh, they're delicious. Their deliciousness. They're donuts. They're actually fried donuts. So they have sugar, eggs, yeast, milk, wheat, and then you fry them, and then you fill them. And so dried fruit, the traditional filling is either apple, rose jam, or plum, but they've got Bavarian cream and chocolate on them and powdered sugar. Anything you can think of, they've pretty much turned into that version.
No wonder you make them the Thursday before Ash Wednesday instead of Tuesday the night before. That's right. I'm on to you guys now, Jennifer. I'm going to be an honorary Polish citizen here, and maybe we'll get some of those this year. Thanks, Jennifer. Have a blessed Ash Wednesday and Lent. Keep us in your prayers. We'll do the same for you. Those sound delicious.
Oh my goodness, don't they sound great? Well, I'm a big March 19th St. Joseph's Day where we have pastries. So you know I love that. I mean, if Jennifer's still listening, if you could send us the recipe, I would attempt to make it. Take 2 at EWTN.com. I even have a thing that you can fry donuts in.
Hey, we just got a comment on the website. It's take2show.com. And Cindy said, what do you do on Fat Tuesday? She says, the Walla Walla Italians celebrate Fat Tuesday with potato pasta and Italian sausage instead of pancakes. This was the tradition from the southern region of Italy in Calabria.
Mm-hmm.
Calabria. She says, oh, so good. Love you too. God bless you. That's from Cindy. Thank you, Cindy.
I love that, Cindy. Wow. Okay, see, I have to catch up. I'm running out of time. Lent's starting too quickly. Okay, up next is Rochelle, and Rochelle is in Iowa, listening to EWTN. Hi, Rochelle. Thanks for waiting, and welcome.
Oh, good morning. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on and share with you guys this morning. I guess for me, because I'm right smack dab here in the middle of the country in the Midwest, and we've made national news with polar vortex, and so we're still right now when I'm talking to you, it is 11 degrees outside. So
wow,
oh my goodness.
I'm looking forward to spring. So much, in fact, that when my husband and I were kind of driving around town a couple of days ago, and I was seeing signs up for Ash Wednesday services and that, and I said, is it just me, or does it seem like it's taking forever for Lent to get here? I'm so excited for Lent this year. Just because of what we have been through with this terrible winter here where I live, the promise of spring is just probably more poignant to me this year than it has ever been before. So one of the things that in my little hometown here, that there's always pancake suppers. I am in Iowa, so we've got all the German roots here with all of the lots of butter in everything. And we have just kind of made it a thing that we always go to a pancake supper on Fat Tuesday. And the thing that's always really struck me about how these have always been done, at least where I live, it's very much a family event. And almost every group, while it's been done in churches and parishes, it's always done by service organizations. It's not people in the church, which to me, is that not reflective of part of our Lenten journey, is serving others and how we're to reach out? And so that has been used as a great opportunity to demonstrate that, not only to adults, but to families. So we're looking forward to going and eating our pancakes, but also I know where we're going tonight, all of the money is going to be used for a youth missions trip this summer. So what a great way to start out.
Wow. Well, there's many layers of sacrifice and generosity there, Rochelle. Like you said, the service groups that are serving, the money going to the youth trip and so forth. And, that's just beautiful. It sounds like it's a pretty... what do I want to say? What's the word I'm looking for? It's a good celebratory event, but it's also very proper, and reverent. I would say it sounds like there's a reverence to it.
Yeah.
And you probably go into this, like you said, with all of these spiritual elements, looking forward, anticipating to getting up on Ash Wednesday and having your Lent start on a really good note. It sounds like.
I agree.
It really does, and I'm sorry, Debbie, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I can relate to what you were saying too about looking forward to spring, because you've been through a tough winter, and that's something you long for. But I would tap into that longing and relate that to your spirituality, because I think there could be some great growth there. But go ahead, Rochelle.
Oh, absolutely. We've had a couple of warm days. Warm right now meaning like above 35. And I actually had some little daffodils that kind of popped up through the ground, and it was just that little reminder of, wow, it's time to, just with everything that Lent represents and what we're, striving towards with Easter and the celebration of Jesus rising, and how can I be changed inside? And, I'm watching piles of snow and ice around me just taking forever to melt. But also knowing that it's like our spiritual life inside. God needs to have that warmer sunshine, that longing that He wants for us to get all of those layers and that crud out of our life, and to get our eyes fixed on Jesus, who is the author and finisher of our faith.
Wow.
Amen.
So it's a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. And just to put a little plug in here, one of the things that we have done is Matthew Kelly has the best Lent ever. That he has kind of put out there for everybody, and you can go online and get that, and he just has a little devotional, and it's just a wonderful thing. So thank you guys so much for what you do, too. So that's how we do it here in the Midwest. Pray for us. We're looking at maybe 40 degrees, and so everybody's probably going to be out in flip-flops and shorts this weekend. So
get out the sunscreen and the lawn chairs, right? Well, bless you, Rochelle. Thank you so much. We should do a show sometime on, Debbie, is people who live in warmer climates like you and I both do. It's like Christmas is 75 and sunny and blue skies, and Easter is usually the same. And, well, yeah, it's just, and that's not to say, we're special or privileged. Actually, I love the seasons.
I do, too.
And I wonder if sometimes, maybe we're at at least a psychological disadvantage sometimes, because Rochelle was talking about, the snow, and then all of a sudden up through the snow or the ice will pop a little blade of grass or a little flower that's going to bloom or something. And you just see life sort of the dying and the rising, and for us, it's just always kind of this monotonous sort of, I'm not complaining, but, I love the seasons. I do.
I do too. I'm right with you. Can you talk about how we can, we're talking about stretching and growing in our spirituality. You and I were just talking about a great way to do that.
Yeah, well, one of the ways here, listen, this is a great thing. Maybe plan it during Lent. I know Lent is only 40 days, and it takes a while to plan maybe a large group for something like this, but maybe you and your spouse or you and some family members, or maybe you can get a group to go. But EWTN offers pilgrimages, and if you're looking for a unique setting for spiritual renewal, there's, of course, a staff of priests on site at the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament. Mother Angelica was laid to rest there. You can tour the EWTN campus. So if it sounds interesting to you, to see EWTN and have some beautiful spiritual refreshment at the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament, go to EWTN.com/pilgrimage, and you can find out more information right there.
I love it. Okay, I'm getting a lot of text messages saying, Debbie, it's not fair that you're waiting till tomorrow because Lent begins tomorrow. Okay, so I'll give everybody a little hint of what Marty and I are going to be doing for this Lent. We are going to choose the harder option. So what we mean by that is, let's say you pull up to the grocery store and you've got that front spot, a parking spot, and you're like so excited because I got the front parking spot. Well, we're going to let somebody else have it, and we're going to park way down the aisle, and walk into the store. We're going to choose the harder route on everything to try and stretch our growth and to get us out of that comfort zone. We're real big on this Lent, so we're going to try for it, and I don't know how it's going to work out, but we're going to be purging, getting rid of a lot of stuff, giving and volunteering, and we're going to do all of that during Lent. And like we said, we're going really in 100% +1. So there you go.
Great. And you've got each other to hold yourselves accountable too, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Okay, let's get to some more of your calls here, talking about Fat Tuesday. Tony Marie is next in El Dorado, Kansas, listening on Catholic Radio Network. Hi, Tony Marie. Welcome.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing okay. Happy Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like last Sunday at Mass, our priest was mentioning, people give up food and things like that for Lent. And some people, like, give up chocolate or, little things like that. And what he was saying was that, we shouldn't give up something like chocolate that we can just have after Lent, like kids do, because we give it up and then we can look forward to having it again. But he was saying about how maybe we should instead just try and get more spiritual in our growth with Jesus instead of giving something up. Get deeper with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Take on something.
And take on, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Tony,
and I've actually. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I hope Tony in Melbourne, Florida, is not listening because he plans on giving up chocolate and pizza. So, but I hear what you're saying. So, does what Marty and I are going to be doing for Lent, that kind of ties in with what your priest was saying, right?
Yeah. Well, and what I'm personally doing is on the Knights of Columbus website, they have got like courses, like the RCIA courses and things like that. And I am doing that. I'm going to brush up on my knowledge and get deeper into my faith for Lent instead of give something up that really, I could have just right after Lent. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I love it. This means I don't have to give up chocolate this year. I love that.
But that's just what my idea is about, Lent and everything. But, we really don't do much for Fat Tuesday around here. We, just a normal day. So.
Wow. No, but that's good. I mean, please thank your priest, or if it's your pastor, thank him so very much for his vocation. Jerry and I are very big on thanking all the priests and deacons and religious for their vocations, but thank them for that, because it helps all of us, and that's how we learn and grow. We can't all stay in our little bubbles, in our little islands. We have to learn from one another, and that's how we're going to grow together as the mystical body of Christ. I think it's wonderful. Thanks, Tony Marie. God bless you.
Thanks, Tony Marie.
Thank you.
Patty
God
and
bless
Donna, God bless you too. I wish we had time. We were just up at that point where we're going to hear the closing music here. Donna says she's choosing not to celebrate her birthday, which is falling on Good Friday this year. Donna, that's a bit of a sacrifice for you.
Yeah.
Patty said her husband and she have already been doing a keto diet, so they're doing different things for Lent. So thank you both very much. And Debbie, we got an email from Brian at the website, actually, take2show.com. Brian says, my wife and I are from New Orleans, so we head up an appreciation dinner for all those who donate their time at our church in Dallas, Georgia. This year, our gala includes red beans and rice, seafood gumbo, andouille gumbo, pastelaya, I'm saying all these right, dobash cake, and of course lots of king cakes. It's a grand time for about 130 guests.
Nice.
So, Brian, I'll be at a Cajun restaurant in Phoenix. It won't be quite the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you will. But it's a good restaurant, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jerry, I've got a challenge for all of our Take Two family. If you can get to church tomorrow to get your ashes very early, I think it's a wonderful way to spend the first day of Lent with the ashes on our forehead to help others understand what it means to be Catholic and entering into this great season that can help us all grow spiritually and get closer to God. So do it early. Go to like the 6 a.m. service. Okay.
All right, tomorrow we're going to kind of continue the theme of Lent. We're going to ask you, speaking of giving things up and resuming them after Lent, what is something that you once gave up during Lent and it became a regular part of your life, or something that you took on, maybe additional prayer, some Lenten practice in the past that has become a regular part of your life? That's our conversation tomorrow. Until